The roar of the storm ripped through the night sky. In a sudden flash, the plane disintegrated above the Amazon rainforest. Juliane Koepcke, just 17, plunged 10,000 feet through the clouds and survived. Alone, wounded, and terrified, she landed in a world where every sound, every shadow could mean death. How did a teenage girl endure the impossible? Like, comment, share, and subscribe to Untold True Life Stories for more real survival documentaries. It was a bright morning in Lima, Peru, 1971. Juliane Koepcke, a 17-year-old girl with a sharp mind for science, woke up in her family home. Birds chirped outside, and sunlight spilled across her bedroom filled with books, notebooks, and sketches of plants and animals. Her parents, renowned biologists, instilled in her a deep understanding of nature and curiosity about the world. Today, she was excited to return from a school trip to Pucallpa, unaware that her life would soon change forever. Juliane packed her bag carefully, placing her notebooks and personal items alongside school essentials. Her heart raced with excitement and anticipation. The family had traveled often, exploring the Amazon rainforest for research, but this flight was routine, just another trip home. She said goodbye to her parents with a hug, unaware that the skies above would soon become the deadliest part of her journey. Juliane walked across the tarmac of the small Pucallpa airport, holding her ticket tightly. The bright sun glinted off the metal fuselage of Lanza Flight 508. She climbed the stairs and found her seat by the window, looking out at the dense jungle below. Passengers chatted quietly, the flight attendants smiled politely. Everything seemed routine, normal, calm, a sharp contrast to the storm that would soon erupt. The engines roared to life, the plane taxied, and Juliane peered through her window one last time at the sprawling rainforest below. She imagined the adventure, the scientific wonders awaiting her at home, and the comfort of family waiting in Lima. In these final calm minutes, there was no hint of the catastrophe ahead, no sense that the sky above would soon become a violent storm, forever altering the course of her life. The plane climbed into darkening skies as the first rumble of thunder echoed through the cabin. Outside the windows, towering clouds swirled with an ominous intensity. Lightning streaked across the horizon. Juliane felt the first tremor of fear, but it was manageable. The turbulence shook the aircraft, rattling overhead compartments and the passengers' nerves. Crew voices tried to maintain calm, but the air crackled with a silent warning: nature was about to strike with unstoppable force. Then it happened. Lightning struck the fuselage. A deafening crack echoed through the metal frame. Sparks and small fires erupted. Passengers screamed. Juliane felt the plane twist violently, her body pressed into the seat. Oxygen masks deployed in some sections, but panic overtook the cabin. The storm's ferocity tore at the aircraft like a predator, bending metal, breaking windows, and ripping away the calm that had existed just moments before. The worst came suddenly. The structural integrity of the aircraft failed. The fuselage tore apart, and seats, luggage, and people were hurled into the void. Juliane's seat twisted violently, then detached. She plummeted through the storm at 10,000 feet, still strapped in her seat, surrounded by fragments of the plane. Rain stung her face, wind screamed in her ears, and thunder rattled her bones. Every instinct told her death was inevitable. Yet somehow, she survived the fall, her seat and the dense jungle canopy below breaking the descent. She hit the rainforest floor, tangled in vines and branches, pain searing through her leg and body. Broken, bruised, and terrified, Juliane opened her eyes to a living nightmare. The wreckage of the plane smoldered miles away. The jungle was dense, alive, and indifferent. Every rustle of leaves, every call of a bird or monkey, could be a threat. She was alone, a teenage girl in the heart of the Amazon, with nothing but her knowledge, instincts, and sheer will to survive. Juliane awoke to a world of green and shadows. Sunlight filtered through the dense canopy, revealing a tangled mess of vines, branches, and debris. Pain lanced through her leg and side. Her clothes were torn, and dirt covered every inch of her skin. For a moment, she couldn't move, stunned by the shock of surviving a fall that should have killed her. Around her, the rainforest was alive, insects buzzed, distant monkeys called, and the river nearby gurgled relentlessly. She was utterly alone. Pain made her wince with every small movement. Juliane touched her leg and realized it was broken. Her head throbbed, cuts stung, and a deep fatigue settled over her body. She understood instinctively, staying still too long could be dangerous, but moving too much could worsen injuries. Using a fallen branch for support, she slowly tested her strength, moving just enough to stay conscious and alert. Each breath was a fight against panic and pain. Every sound in the jungle carried meaning. Juliane listened to the rustle of leaves, the distant call of birds, and the movement of small animals. Predators could be near, yet she had to move to find water and shelter. Her mind sharpened, identify safe paths, avoid holes or unstable ground, and keep calm despite overwhelming fear. Each decision was critical, balancing survival instincts with her limited strength. Using a broken branch as a crutch, Juliane began moving toward the distant river. Pain seared with every step, but knowledge of the jungle guided her. She avoided unstable ground, tested vines for support, and kept her eyes open for edible plants. Hunger and thirst gnawed at her, yet mental focus and training gave her the strength to continue. She had survived the fall, but the fight to stay alive had just begun. Hours passed, then days. Juliane felt the crushing weight of isolation. No human voice, no familiar sight, only the endless jungle and the constant hum of life around her. Panic threatened to overtake her. Thoughts raced, will I die here? Did anyone survive? Am I alone forever? But through the fear, she forced herself to breathe slowly, to observe instead of react. Survival required control over her mind, even as it screamed for release. Juliane realized panic was her greatest enemy. She remembered lessons from her parents: observe, analyze, act deliberately. She began to ration her energy, move carefully, and focus on small objectives: finding water, avoiding dangerous animals, and navigating toward familiar landmarks. Her mind became a tool, sharper than any weapon, mapping paths, calculating distances, and predicting where danger might lurk. Knowledge became her lifeline. Every small success mattered. Juliane found a shallow stream and drank carefully. She discovered edible fruits, wrapped leaves around wounds, and learned to avoid leeches. Each action reinforced her control over the situation, a mental anchor amidst chaos. Her thoughts shifted from fear to calculation: I can survive this. I must survive this. Even in the heart of the jungle, knowledge and discipline became her shield. The broken leg and bruises made every step agony. Yet, Juliane trained her mind to override pain, focusing on breathing, slow movement, and observation. Each decision, where to step, when to rest, which direction to follow, was deliberate. Her awareness sharpened. The jungle was dangerous, yes, but predictable in its patterns. The line between survival and collapse lay in the mastery of her own mind. Juliane paused at a fork in the dense jungle. Every path looked treacherous: thick vines, unstable ground, and the shadows of unknown predators. The river she had spotted earlier could guide her, but it was miles away, and the sun was dipping toward the horizon. She understood one brutal truth: hesitation could cost her life. Summoning every ounce of courage, she chose the path leading toward the river, relying on memory, instinct, and her knowledge of nature. The jungle was unforgiving. Every step required calculation. A hidden root could twist her ankle, a slippery patch could send her crashing down. Her broken leg screamed with each movement, but stopping was not an option. She leaned heavily on her branch crutch, testing the ground before stepping. Mental focus and physical endurance became inseparable. She moved deliberately, aware that one misstep could end her journey. Juliane knew survival required prioritization. Water first, then shelter, then food. She kept mental checklists: avoid predators, stay hydrated, conserve energy, stay calm. When she spotted a fallen branch shaped like a walking stick, she used it to further stabilize her movement. Every small action reinforced control over chaos, giving her hope amid the endless green labyrinth. The sun began its descent, and the jungle grew darker, shadows stretching like silent threats. Juliane's leg throbbed with sharp pain, every movement a battle. She considered resting, but instinct screamed that nightfall would bring unseen dangers. Summoning mental resilience, she pressed on, step by careful step, each movement a testament to willpower. Survival depended not just on body, but on the unbroken determination of the mind. Juliane's broken leg made every step agony. Roots, mud, and fallen logs threatened to topple her at every turn. She gritted her teeth and leaned heavily on her branch crutch, moving slowly but deliberately. Each step was calculated: test the ground, stabilize, breathe, repeat. The jungle was relentless, indifferent to her suffering, yet with each cautious movement, she defied the odds. Survival demanded persistence beyond fear. Water was life. Juliane discovered a small stream trickling through the undergrowth. She knelt, cupped her hands, and drank cautiously. Every rustle in the bushes made her flinch. She knew predators like jaguars, snakes, and insects lurked nearby. Her eyes constantly scanned for danger while her body shivered from exhaustion and fear. Survival depended on vigilance, timing, and intuition. Juliane's leg throbbed incessantly, cuts swept blood, and bruises burned under the sun. Using large leaves, she cleaned minor wounds and wrapped them carefully to avoid infection. Pain was constant, but she learned to focus on methodical care, slow, deliberate, and precise. Every small action reduced risk and gave her control over a body that seemed intent on failing her. Hunger gnawed at her stomach, but she could not linger. Juliane recognized edible fruits and plants from lessons at home. Each bite replenished some strength, though her body still ached. She moved cautiously, using knowledge of jungle patterns: avoid poisonous plants, stay near water, and conserve energy. Every decision became a rhythm of life: observe, choose, act, repeat. Fatigue threatened to collapse her body. Limbs ached, eyes stung, and every step became heavier. Yet, Juliane pressed forward, driven by instinct and the knowledge that stopping could mean death. She moved with a deliberate rhythm, using her branch crutch as an extension of herself, inching toward safety. Survival demanded not strength alone, but an unyielding will. After days of relentless struggle, Juliane's eyes caught a glimpse of smoke rising through the dense canopy. Her heart leapt. The smell of fire, distant voices, and the faint structure of huts in the clearing were signs of human life. Every movement became sharper, more urgent, despite her broken leg and exhaustion. For the first time, hope pierced the endless green. Rescue was close, but the final stretch was still treacherous. Every step toward the clearing was agony. Her leg throbbed sharply, bruises burned, and the jungle seemed to resist her passage. But determination outweighed pain. With every careful step and calculated movement, she drew closer to human contact, clinging to hope as a lifeline. Her mental focus remained razor-sharp: one misstep could still prove deadly. Finally, she emerged into the clearing. A local villager noticed her first, running toward her with alarm and urgency. Others followed, bringing water and helping her to sit. Tears streamed down her face, a mix of exhaustion, relief, and disbelief. For the first time, the nightmare of the jungle began to lift. She was safe, rescued by strangers who became her lifeline. Juliane was taken to a small village for immediate care. Broken leg treated, wounds cleaned, and food provided, her body slowly began to recover. Yet the mind held vivid memories of the fall, the jungle, and every agonizing step she had taken. Survival was no longer about instinct alone; it was a testament to resilience, mental discipline, and the human spirit's refusal to yield. The ordeal had ended, but the lessons endured. Juliane Koepcke survived what most would call impossible. Alone, injured, and isolated in the Peruvian jungle after a 10,000-foot fall, her ordeal became a study in human endurance. She reflected on every step, every breath, and every mental strategy that had carried her through. The experience revealed a profound truth: survival is as much a mental journey as it is a physical one. The mind, disciplined and focused, can triumph where the body falters. Scientists later studied Juliane's survival, noting her ability to withstand trauma, hypothermia, and dehydration. Her youth, physical condition, knowledge of the jungle, and quick mental assessment of threats were crucial. Every instinctive action, choosing water over rest, prioritizing injuries, using leaves for bandages, aligned with survival biology. Her story became a rare example of how knowledge, adaptability, and calm mental focus can override physical limitations. Juliane's experience is a testament to the human mind's resilience. The psychological principles she exemplified, mental focus, prioritization, calculated risk-taking, and discipline under stress, are recognized today in survival training worldwide. Her ordeal demonstrates that fear, if managed, can sharpen perception and decision-making rather than paralyze. Survival, in essence, begins in the mind. Juliane Koepcke's story continues to inspire. It is studied by survivalists, psychologists, and adventurers alike. Her legacy is more than a tale of survival, it is a blueprint for enduring the unimaginable. She proved that calm judgment, mental resilience, and knowledge can guide a person through even the darkest, most isolated moments. Finally, her story leaves us with this truth: the human spirit can endure, adapt, and triumph where all seems lost. Subscribe to Untold True Life Stories for real survival stories that prove the human spirit is stronger than fear.